Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. My name is Michael Fortin. I am the Director of Promotion for the Maine Tax Portal here at Maine Revenue Services. I'm joined by our panelist, Lisa Grayton, Deputy Director of the Income and Estate Tax Division. And it's my pleasure to be your MC for our webinar, which is for unorganized territory excise tax for vehicles and watercraft. And this is training directed towards UT collectors, and it provides an overview of the Maine Tax Portal that will become available on October 15th, 2024, which marks our fourth and final rollout of the Maine Tax Portal. The portal is now open for individuals and most Maine businesses to file and pay taxes, view notices, and much more. You can visit the MTP information page at the following address. I'll give you this address a couple of times. It's maine.gov/revenue/portal. Again, that's Maine, MAINE.gov/revenue/portal. And you can visit this page to learn more, to get access to all of the helpful resources there, and we will be talking about that in greater detail a little later this afternoon. Before Lisa gets started with her presentation, I have a few housekeeping items to review with everyone. First, the raise hand button on the bottom of your Zoom screen will not be used for today's webinar, but you'll have many opportunities to ask questions. Attendees can ask your questions by typing them into the Q&A area on the bottom of your Zoom screen, and Lisa will answer as many questions as possible with you today live, but if she is unable to address them all, she will follow up via email following the webinar, and we're happy to assist in any way that we can. There may be times when you'd like Lisa to repeat a step that you've missed, or perhaps you're simply unable to watch the entire session. Therefore, it will be helpful to know that today's webinar is being recorded, and we will be sending out a link to watch the recording in your email tomorrow. There are no documents or presentation materials that you'll need for today's webinar. You feel free to take notes, but know you can always rewatch the recorded session anytime you'd like to review the material. And finally, we should be reminded there can be unexpected technical challenges. Lisa is speaking to you live. Therefore, we appreciate your understanding and ask for your patience if we should experience any technical difficulties. So that concludes all of our housekeeping items. But one last point is, along with Lisa, we have a team of people helping with the demonstration of the Maine Tax Portal today. We have Heather, Rachel, Lisa, a different Lisa, Ricky, and Sam. So we'd like to thank them for their assistance. Lisa, let's get started.
Thank you, Mike. Hello, and thank you everyone for joining our presentation today. We're very excited to hold this webinar training session specifically designed for excise tax collectors who serve the unorganized territory residents of Maine. We greatly appreciate the services provided by those who agree to partner with MRS and serve as UT collectors. Today's session will demonstrate the ease of Maine Revenue Service's new electronic excise tax monthly remittance process. I do want to reiterate that this presentation is for a tax collector who works in a municipality that has an agreement with MRS to collect motor vehicle and/or watercraft excise tax from unorganized territory residents of townships who do not have their own town office or tax collector. This presentation is not intended to instruct a resident of an unorganized territory on how they would pay their vehicle watercraft excise tax directly to MRS. So today we will discuss and demonstrate three things. First, how a UT excise tax collector will create a Maine Tax Portal username. Second, how a UT excise tax collector will remit their monthly excise tax payment to MRS using the Maine Tax Portal. And third, how a UT excise tax collector could view their prior Maine Tax Portal excise tax submissions. Monthly remittance of the collected excise tax on behalf of unorganized territory residents is a logged-in activity on the Maine Tax Portal. What does logged in mean? It simply means that you need to enter a username and a password to access your secure account information before providing your monthly remittance. Perhaps you already have a username for the portal. and you're wondering if you could just use that same username for UT collector purposes. Well, the answer is no. Because that excise tax collection work that you do is on behalf of the UT, MRS does not want you to mix that work with any of your other tax accounts, including your personal income tax filings. A UT collector will need to create a separate username for your excise tax collection activities. You can use the same email or phone number associated with this second login, but you must create a unique username for the second login. And also, as mentioned previously, we have a few topics to discuss and demonstrate today. Please add your questions to the Q&A portion at any time, and we will respond to you. And also, please know that if you miss a section of the presentation, you can rewatch the recorded session as many times as needed once you receive the recording link in your email tomorrow. Okay, let's get started by walking through the steps of creating a username on the main tax portal. And I do want to mention that if you're tempted to follow along on our website today, please know that you won't be able to access these links or actions that we demonstrate until they go live on October 15th for public use. But we're giving you a sneak peek today from our testing environment. Okay, how do we access the main tax portal? We can do that in two different ways. We would be directly on the MRS website at maine.gov/revenue, and we could locate the Electronic Services drop-down menu. Also, we could be on the MRS website and use the green main tax portal square. So once we're on the portal, we notice an area in the upper right side of the screen where we can log in with a username and a password. We will use this once we've created our username. We also see a link to create a username in that same area of the screen. Let's click the Create a Username link to begin. We're asked to select a reason for creating our username, so we choose Unorganized Territories Excise Collector, and then Next. This screen provides information about requirements needed to continue. We see that we will need the collector ID and letter ID from a welcome letter. MRS will send this welcome letter that you see on your screen here to all currently confirmed UT excise tax collectors in mid-October. We would like to draw your attention to the top right-hand corner of the letter where the letter ID and letter date are located, as well as to the bottom of the third page where the collector ID is located. Now, you might be wondering if you need to memorize this collector ID number or use it in any other manner than just creating your main tax portal username. And the answer is no. It is just an internal number that MRS can use to verify your identity for this one-time username creation. Now, going back to the portal, we do know that we have this collector ID and letter ID information with us today, so we will choose Next to continue. And we now input our collector ID that we saw on the letter, and we will choose Next. We are asked which type of verification we can provide. The top choice is grayed out as it is not available for this particular account type. So we select letter ID and date and then Next. And here is the screen where we will input the letter ID and the letter date from the letter we just showed to you. We'll select Next to proceed. Now we'll input our chosen username, as well as the first and last name of our fictitious UT collector who's creating this account. We'll also input Joe's email address twice for confirmation. We will be using the property tax email address and telephone number throughout today's presentation for your convenience. And we will choose No for paperless mail delivery. Next, we'll create our password. Please note the information link that provides information on MRS password requirements. So after reviewing that, we'll input our password and then once more to confirm. And we now choose a secret question from the list and we enter the answer. Lastly, we input Joe's telephone number. Please note the phone type defaults to cell phone, but that can be changed to whatever is desired. And we just take one last moment to confirm all the information on the screen is correct, and then we select Next. A summary of our registration information displays for us. If there were an error, we could use the previous button at the bottom to step back a screen and correct any information. We are satisfied that this is correct, so we will select Submit. And we are prompted to enter Joe's valid email address again, twice to confirm. This does act as a signature and confirmation that we truly intended to create this UT Collector username today. And once we click OK, we will see a confirmation message for our username creation. So now that we've created Joe's username, we'll go back to the portal main screen and we will log in with that information that we just created. So we'll input the username and password. And we'll select Login. Since this is our first login, we are prompted to set up the two-step verification method that best suits our needs. We prefer to receive emails containing our security code, so we choose the Add Email link in the email panel. We input our email, and then we'll hit Save. In a non-testing environment, we would be provided an email with our security code, which we would input on the screen here. In our testing environment, we will click the Populate link to simulate the security code, and then we'll choose Confirm. Now we're offered another chance to set up a second verification method, but we only wish to add email, so we'll just click Confirm for our one choice today. Now, please note that all users will be asked to set up that two-step verification method once, but will be required to input the new code generated each time they log in. Okay, so as mentioned before, UT collectors remit the excise tax collected to MRS on a monthly basis, less a $6 fee for each paid registration. Previously, this was done by mailing a paper remittance form and a check to MRS. We will still honor a paper remittance of these funds, and we want to inform you of a new standardized form that you could use after October 15th. The revised form appears on your screen now. Please notice that it is a uniform fillable PDF document and it still captures the county, collector name, municipality, period of remittance, and the amount collected. There are also two checkboxes to designate whether this form is for motor vehicle or watercraft excise tax. The intention is that a collector using this paper form would remit one form per type of excise tax for that month. One check may be provided for the sum of the excise taxes from the two or more forms, though. Please also notice the form has a new barcode located at the top of the document, which allows our scanning equipment to read and input the data into our modernized computer system easily. If you choose to continue remitting by paper, the information should be typed into the new monthly form. The document would then be printed, and then the form and payment would be mailed to MRS. The revised form will be located on our Property Tax Division section of the MRS website by October 15th. We greatly appreciate your use of the new version of this monthly form, allowing MRS to achieve standardization and automation for this process. So now that we've discussed the new old way to remit payment, let's look at a more convenient electronic method to remit these funds. We are confident you will embrace this method once you've tried it. So we're back on Joe's logged in main tax portal account. We can see that there's a panel for the UT excise tax account, as well as 2 links for actions that we could take. Let's click on the link named Download Excise Tax Template. We notice that an Excel spreadsheet opens. This Excel spreadsheet contains 3 tabs designating boats, vehicles, and BMV use only. You would not alter the spreadsheet layout in any manner, or it will not import properly. What does that mean to you? Well, if you only have motor vehicle registrations to report, you merely input that data on the Vehicle tab and take no action on the other tabs. You also do not delete the unneeded tabs, or the spreadsheet will not import correctly. We can see that the layout is very similar to the paper form that we just reviewed, and it also includes instructions on the side for ease. This seems like a good time to point out that the column titled Exempt, many collectors associate the word exempt with the concept of the registration not being subject to excise tax, like a veteran's vehicle registration, for example. This could also apply to a duplicate or corrected registration, essentially any circumstance where there is no collection of excise tax associated with the registration. MRS recognized that this could be a misleading column title, and we will be changing it shortly after rollout 4 to provide more clarity. The spreadsheet instructions as well as the portal instructions will receive this clarification too. Okay, let's close out the spreadsheet. And now we're going to demonstrate how to submit the monthly remittance. So let's choose the UT excise tax monthly remittance link. Here we're asked to input the county we are remitting for, as well as the month and the year, and to answer whether we have any watercraft or motor vehicle registrations to report. We have both today, so we'll answer yes to both of them. And I'm going to pause here to answer an unasked question. What if you are a tax collector who collects for more than one county? As you can see from the input fields on the screen, each county submission would require a separate filing. A collector is not limited to one filing in a month on the portal, so you will repeat this process as many times as needed to remit monthly filings for each county in your collection jurisdiction. So we've just input our information for Kennebec County, and we're going to choose Next to proceed. The screen brings us to the Watercraft registrations first. We have 2 methods to input information, either by using the Excel template that we just previewed or by direct entry. Perhaps you only have one watercraft to report for this county and month, so you may find it easier to input the data directly. To do this, you would click the blue plus sign on Add a Record. We could easily input the name of the registrant, their legal residence, whether the registration is exempt or not, and the amount of excise tax collected. Today, we will cancel this action to use the spreadsheet import functionality instead. And I'd also like to point out on this screen, it contains a link to the template we viewed previously. So you could use the download template link here to download a blank template also. We already have a template pre-filled and ready to go, so we're going to choose the upload spreadsheet link instead. We will choose our file. And then we'll click OK once it's selected. And then we can see that the screen inputs our one watercraft record. This information is correct in what we expected, so we will select Next to continue. Now we're brought to the motor vehicle registrations, and we can see that the import also brought over our vehicle registrations that were on the spreadsheet. We're satisfied that these are the 2 items we wanted to report, so we'll select Next to continue. We are asked to attach supporting documentation for each registration input from that spreadsheet. This might be a step that you are not quite ready to complete today, but you don't wish to undo your input thus far. So please note there's a Save Draft button at the bottom of the screen that you could use to save your progress to this point. You would be able to resume input at a later date once you have the registration attachments, and then you could complete your filing. We are prepared with our attachments today, and so we will click the Add Attachment link. We will choose the type of file we want to attach, and we'll add a description, and then select the file for upload. Then we'll click OK to attach it. So we note now there's a check mark next to the Watercraft registrations. So that was successfully uploaded. Let's repeat those steps again for the motor vehicle registrations by clicking Add Attachment. We're going to choose the file type and add a description. We'll select the file to upload and click OK. We see both check marks, so it's successful. We will select Next to move on. A summary screen displays the total excise tax reported for this reported county for the month, as well as the quantity of registrations, less the fees retained by the collector, resulting in the net tax due. This amount does agree with our records, so we select Next. We're now prompted to enter our payment information. We'll input our routing number and then our account number twice. And lastly, we'll designate this as a checking account. And then there's a handy feature next, and what we really think you'll enjoy about the process. You could choose to save this payment method as a channel for future use. Making this choice ensures you only have to enter the payment routing and account information once, but can easily use it for each future remittance. Plus, this saves time waiting for a check to be cut also. We do choose to save our payment channel today by saying yes. And now we see a name line appears below, which represents the financial institution and the account number we input. You can click into that name field and edit it to something more meaningful to you, something like excise payment account. Now we'll move over to the right side of the screen where we'll input the confirmation of the amount due, $882, and then we'll select Next. This is a summary of our payment transaction. It gives us one final chance for review. If you needed to step back, you could click the previous button. Everything does appear to be correct, so we proceed to the next screen. And now the declaration screen requires the tax collector submitting this transfer tax payment to check the box declaring that the information in the submission is true and correct to the best of their knowledge. And then we input the name of the person completing this twice for confirmation. And then we select Submit to transmit this payment and reporting information to MRS. We have a confirmation screen here, which displays a confirmation number, the person who submitted it, and the type of submission request, as well as the amount paid. You may also click on Printable View to print a receipt. MRS does recommend that you save this receipt information for your records. Okay, now we've reached the third portion of our presentation, how to view your prior submissions. We'll go back to the main summary screen here, and we can see other actions a collector might take under the More tab. Here we see a panel titled Submissions and a link for search submissions. Clicking on that search submissions link brings up a list of prior unorganized territory excise tax submissions. We could click the link to view the details of the submission. Once we're in here, we can also see that we are given options in the upper right side of the screen to withdraw, print, or delete this submission. We may print at any time, but can only withdraw or delete a submission that is in a submitted status. Once our filing reaches the processed stage, it may not be withdrawn or deleted, but it may be corrected by filing a new monthly report for that county. You may also step through each of the screens to view the data input if desired. That concludes today's presentation as it pertains to UT collector remittance of excise tax collected on behalf of residents of the unorganized territories. I'll toss it back to Mike now for some important closing announcements. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. We would like to invite our audience to ask any questions you may have and to type those into the Q&A area, and we'll give you a few moments to gather your thoughts and put those remaining questions in the chat so that we could answer those for you before we end today's webinar. While we're waiting for those remaining questions to come in, we would like to take this opportunity to show you the main tax portal information page, which is a wealth of information all about the portal. And on your screen right now, we are at the main Revenue Services homepage, and the address is maine.gov/revenue. We're going to scroll the page down, and you will see the heading Important Updates. And just below that, there are some links. We're going to click the second link from the top. It says Important Information about the main tax portal. And that will bring us right to the main tax portal information page. If you would like to come directly here and bypass the main Revenue Services homepage, you can type the address into your address bar, and it's this address here, maine.gov/revenue/portal. That's the address I gave you during our introduction this afternoon. So let's take a look and see what we have here. So at the top of the page, some general introduction information about the main tax portal, including a short video there you can watch. And it's a great way to start if you are unfamiliar with the portal or just starting out. And then below that video, we see 4 boxes rollout, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And those rollouts or different phases of the main tax portal will, if you hover over each box, it will show you all of the different tax types that were implemented on each rollout of the portal. And as we're approaching the 4th and final rollout, we're hovering over the box now, and you can see all of the tax types that are soon to be brought in to the portal. So if you're interested in looking at this list in more detail or looking at the previous rollouts, you can visit. And then beneath that, we have some blue buttons, the first being the main tax portal login button. So if you happen to be here on the information page and would like to jump over to the main tax portal to perform any logged in or non-logged in activities, it's a convenient way to do that. And then the second button, FAQs, we're going to click that and we'll take a peek at it. Our FAQs are questions that have been presented to us during our training webinars, and we have summarized those and posted the questions and the answers here on this page. So like with today, any questions that come in, we review those, and we will soon be adding to the list of FAQs, and they're all organized by subject area, so you can find them easily. If you do have a question in your mind about the portal, either today or at some point in the future, there's a good chance that it's probably listed on this page. So I would ask you to take note of it, and it's a great place to get answers to your questions. We're going to go ahead and click back now. And the next button are the instructional videos, and we're going to click that and take a look at it. Instructional videos are short video segments that are narrated and demonstrate different features and functions of the main tax portal. If anybody is new to using a certain feature, the video is a great place to be more comfortable with that. And those are available, of course, anytime, day or night. So if you find yourself wanting to learn more, you have this library of videos at your disposal. So we'll go ahead and click back now. And then just a couple additional buttons there, payroll service provider information and tax professional information. So in particular, if you're a tax professional or if you work with one, there's information and resources there to help your clients with the transition to the main tax portal. And then below the olive green colored section at the bottom of the page is information all about our webinars. If you would like to attend a webinar, we have been running these for past several weeks, but there are still some additional sessions available in some topics. So if you find that you would be interested in attending any of those, or even repeating a session, if you see that you've already attended one, would like to do that again, please feel free to sign up. We would like anybody to take advantage of those. And then the recording of past webinars are listed there also. So if you're interested in the prior rollouts of the main tax portal, prior training webinars that we've offered, for example, on sales tax or any other tax type, those are a great resource for you. And then our contact information. If you have questions, if you'd like to reach out, underneath the rollout boxes, you'll see the email address and phone number of our Taxpayer Contact Center. So the Taxpayer Contact Center has a team that is dedicated to helping people answer questions about the portal, questions in particular like username questions or login questions, issues with your password. They can help you with that. So their email address is taxpayerassist@maine.gov. I'll give that to you again, taxpayerassist@maine.gov. And their telephone number is 207-624-9784. Again, that's 207-624-9784. If you have questions that are specific tax questions for the property tax division, then it would be best to contact them directly. And their contact information is not listed here on this page, but I will give it to you now. So the telephone number for the property tax division is 207-624-5600. Again, that's 207-624-5600. And you can email them. Their email address is prop.tax@maine.gov. That's PROP, prop.tax@maine, MAINE.gov. Okay, I think, and thank you for your attention on that. I think we have addressed all of the open questions. So we are moving towards the end of our time together. Before we close out and we highlight a few of the very important things we've discussed today, I would like to thank Lisa, our presenter, for another great job and very, very good information and helping us understand the main tax portal. We also want to thank her team, Lisa, Heather, Ricky, Sam, and Rachel, for their help in demonstrating it. And especially want to thank all of our attendees for taking the time out of your afternoon to join us and learn all about the main tax portal. As a reminder, we have recorded today's session, and in your inbox tomorrow, you will receive a link where you can visit the Zoom site and watch the recording at your convenience. We want to recap a few of the important points that we discussed today, that the main tax portal is open for individuals and for most Maine businesses to file and pay taxes, view notices, and much more. And unorganized territory excise tax for vehicles and watercraft for UT collectors will go live on October 15th, 2024. So it's coming right up. You can visit the main tax portal information page. That's the page I showed you that has the resources, the FAQs, and the instructional videos. And I'll give you that address one more time. It's maine.gov/revenue/portal. If you have questions and you would like to reach out to somebody about your main tax portal username or password or portal type questions, you can contact the Taxpayer Contact Center, and their phone number is 207-624-9784, and their email address is taxpayerassist@maine.gov. And if you have tax-specific questions for the Property Tax Division, then you may call them at 207-624-5600 or email them at prop.tax@maine.gov. So we are ready to close out today's webinar. We'd like to thank you all for joining us, and we'll wish you a great rest of your day.